Hey everybody, Corey here. As I mentioned in my introduction, if you had seen it, um, I am the president of the chess club at UMSL, and we are pretty new. We did the paperwork in March, but this is our first real semester, kind of getting the ground running. And right now, we're in that stage of meeting once a week, kind of like in a social, more of a social aspect. And we have our chess set, so we get together, play some games, talk about different strategies. A lot of the time, we're talking about our history playing chess, what got us started. Many players at UMSL, most of them are undergrad students, and they started playing during the pandemic. So they kind of just got into it because you kind of needed something to do, needed a way to connect with the community, and playing online was an option for a lot of us. So it's really cool to kind of see a lot of common stories for how people got started, and a variety of interests of where we're going. So I'm very fortunate. I feel very fortunate to be a part of this class because since we're so new, it's really good that we can really start talking about what the design is really going to look like, and then also have some kind of strategies in place or methods in place for evaluation down the road. So regarding the logic model here, and actually, it's funny. I as soon as I had done this, I had shared it with some of the club officers, and they really liked this kind of process because now they could see. And I'll just give you a quick snapshot here. They could see how everything was broken down and kind of what my thinking was for the club. And then I also talked to them a little bit about like what their visions were and see how we can change it. It's actually kind of cool because like as we understand it, this is a live document, so this can change periodically, and as new information comes in, we can add and take things away. But first I wanted to kind of give you a sense of what we're trying to accomplish here. So if you didn't know, clubs at UMSL, I'm not sure about every university. I don't think they all work this way, but they're treated like their own kind of entities, like their own organizations. So when I said paperwork, like we had to create our own constitution and our own bylaws in order to apply for the opportunity to have a club, right? So we already had to put something in place as far as our mission statement and our vision, and also like what officer roles would be and kind of potential committees that would come together and things of that nature. So a lot of this had already come to mind for us in March, and it's nice now because once the paperwork's done, they're not really tracking us anymore. It's nice to now be working on design portion so that we can really hold ourselves accountable for what we're trying to accomplish. So, anyways, I want to kind of bring your eye down to here. So, our idea for this chess club is to help students, students at the University of UMSL, to help them develop cognitive thinking skills such as critical thinking, pattern recognition, and memory. So, chess is obviously a very big thinking game, and a lot of the aspects of growth in the game come from building that critical thinking understanding, learning how to think essentially, and developing that pattern recognition by solving different puzzles, and asking the right questions. Memory is also interesting. A lot of people at chess clubs in general, and also at UMSL, say that they have difficulty with memory, not just in chess, like memorizing what moves to do it and when where, but also in how they study and like being able to take tests of that nature. So what we're trying to do is like practice learning how to improve memory or like lift different methods for memory and apply that same thing with critical thinking, and apply that to their growth in academia as well. And then also the non-cognitive aspects to it, so improving perseverance, developing teamwork and interpersonal interactions. um, and also we want to be able to perform and organize chess tournaments. So in addition to kind of like the social aspect I mentioned, meeting once a week, we want to also have something of some kind of structure to it where there's this personal development attached to it that they can apply not only over the board but also in the workforce later down the round and more immediately in school. Okay, so back to the official logic model. I had some fun with this. In the inputs, this is post feedback from our professor. So starting with the inputs, of course, we have the Office of Student Involvement. They are the organization that oversees all of the clubs at the university. General university resources, I kind of chop this under the umbrella of like, I don't know, having access to different classrooms, projectors, different materials, what kind of have you. For us, right now, we meet in the St. Louis Mercantile Library, so we utilize their resources on a weekly basis. There's just chess training software that's available online, so mostly chess.com and Lichess is what people use. And then we also include the officers that we currently have standing, and this will probably change over time as well, since these are the officers that started with me that first semester in spring when we were talking about doing the paperwork. All right. As far as activities, there's going to be this chess clinic, which was actually something proposed to me recently. So right now we have our weekly meetings on Fridays where it's more social, get to know each other, build a sense of community, and then there's this idea of having a different day for a chess clinic where it's um, more kind of structured as like a workshop, right? So they're kind of learning more of the strategic skills. There's somebody standing in front of the classroom, maybe giving a lecture, and then we practice what we learned, that kind of thing. So that's the idea of the chess clinic, and that's where probably more of the relevance to like the more academic growth comes from. But some of the non-cognitive aspects would probably come from a little bit of both, working in the social club and in the chess clinic. And yeah, as you guys already know, we got the social club here. Some activities will be recruiting students, and then developing a coaching component. So again, we want something a little bit more structured than just somebody coming up and just talking about what they know. We want like a couple coaches that come in and like kind of like a systemically, not systemic, in a structured way, share information that any new student can come in and follow along on different steps for pattern of growth. All right. Then we have our outputs. So we're hoping to have 13 social club sessions, so the weekly club meetings until the end of the semester. So on average, it'll probably be like 13 instead of like 16 per semester, because we know we have like weeks that we have fall breaks. I think we have two fall breaks this semester. But in general, we meet on a weekly basis for a couple hours. And then we want to try to fill in 10 educational training sessions, and that's more of what this chess clinic is about. And we're hoping to have an average of like 10 to 15 participants. Not exactly sure what to expect next, because like I said, we're a new club. And we have 50 people who have signed up for the chess club, and you never know who's kind of signing up just because they're interested, who wants to kind of come once and every once in a while, and then who may be more consistently interested in attending and who also wants to compete down the line. So that the participants, their engagement will vary for sure. So we're going to be trying to track the number of sessions students attend, how long they attend. Maybe, well, I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit much. Maybe just the number of sessions they attend would be good. I don't really need to check in and out for each person. And then hopefully we'll have two coaches trained or recruited for coaching, which is interesting because we'll have to think more about this. But since the St. Louis Chess Club is like just right down the road, there's this potential if we can get the funding for it from the Office of Student Involvement, more than likely, then maybe we can get one or two coaches directly from the St. Louis Chess Club who already have a system in place for coaching, and they like hire people specifically just to come in and teach chess. So maybe we can have them come in every now and then, or on a consistent basis. I'm not sure. And then we come down to the outcomes. So tried to make these as measurable as possible after getting feedback. At first, it was a little bit more general, but of course, I know better to be a little bit more specific. Beginning with the short term, 50% of members can refer to 3 chess-related resources. So if you think about it, like if you're someone who's never played chess before, you know someone who's never played before coming in, it can be a little bit daunting at first. You might a lot of people come in and they expect that everyone knows what they're doing already and everyone's better, everyone's going to win all the time. Not the case. We get a large variety of people who from never played before to people like me who played their entire lives, and everybody's willing to open and share. But as a starting point, we hope for like after a few sessions that you can identify chess related resources that would be helpful to you. A lot of chess is a lot of self study. Like we only meet once or twice a week, and a lot of people are practicing outside of that. So a lot of people have questions about what are they actually doing. So I can knock off 5 or 6 in my head, and that I can share with anyone. And but it's important that they can recall it and use it themselves. Students having knowledge of fundamental training process. Yeah, so within the resources, having an idea of like what it means to study chess. And I think this is really important because a lot of people might not ask themselves as students, as college students, what does it mean to actually study? Like, what does studying look like? What is your studying process, and how do you evaluate that and improve on that? Right. So I think that's important to like, kind of ask it, and from a perspective of just looking at a game, where it's more fun. There's no high stakes to it. And then you can transition and recognize that how a lot of the ways that you think and how you process information in a simple game, well, not simple, but a game, is very relevant to other aspects of your life. And then of course, coaches understand their roles and expectations. So kind of short term, we're hoping whether we find them or people volunteer to be coaching that are a little bit more experienced, they have an idea of what their expectations are. All right. As far as medium term, average 15 in number of repeating participants of social club meetings. So right now we have probably an average of like 10 or 12 students that come. And again, it's still brand new. It's only been a month, so you never know. But it would be nice to see an average of 15 people and then average of 10 who are participating in training meetings. So again, that's that clinic, and an increase in self confidence. I threw this one in there, and there's probably other non-cognitive stuff that I want to put in there, but the self-confidence one is more recurring. A lot of students that are coming in, whether they've played chess before or not, they struggle with their self-confidence. So I figure that's a important goal that we want to address. And I think it's interesting. There's probably a lot more I could say about that, kind of the psychology of chess and how that will transition into their daily lives as well. Long term, it'd be nice to have at least 20 members reported studying outside of UMSL. So again, like we meet once or twice a week, but we're also hoping that they've already found their three chess related resources. They learned how to some aspects of the training process, and then they've started actually doing it on their own outside of our facilitated work, because that'll be a um, big factor in their success as a chess player and as a student. Just thinking in general, like you don't, I mean, if you can help it, if you don't want to do it just what your teacher requires of you to do in your classes. Like if you want to be an expert in something, if you want to reach a different level, if you want to have a career in something, you can't just do the bare minimum. You have to go above and beyond and know your resources and do your research, right? And then students with a rating under 1500 who attend 5 training sessions will increase their rating by 50 points on average. So, with these numbers, what I'm talking about here is that in chess, we're very fortunate to have a rating system, which means that we can essentially, a rating is an estimate of your strength as a player, right? So it's not perfect, but it gives you a sense of how strong someone is, how good someone is, and what their chess knowledge is. So within our own context, we have a rating of what you know and what you're able to accomplish. And a rating of about 1500 is kind of, you know, it says that you know the fundamentals of chess, you know how to win the game, you've developed some pattern recognition, you know how to calculate, you know some of the underlying principles of how to think and um, deal with challenges that arise, right? So that's kind of an it's a number that says I'm not an expert of the game, but I understand it and I can enjoy it and I can continue learning from it, and it's just kind of a good stepping stone for anyone's chess journey. A lot of people start around like 500, 600 points, and then they get to around 1,000, you know, just by playing, just by playing and getting that exposure, they get to around 1,000. And then they need a little bit extra help to kind of bump up to that next level, about 1,300, 1,500. And we hope to be that stepping stone that helps them reach that level. Right. And we're arguing that attending our sessions will increase their rating. And then lastly, students with a rating under 1,500 who attend 5 social club sessions will increase their rating by 25 points on average. And the main difference is the type of sessions they participate in. So again, the chess clinic is more structured, and that's the one where they get more of that kind of the heart of what they need to progress as a chess player. And the chess club is more social, where they'll still gain experience. They'll definitely develop some pattern recognition, and also they'll get feedback from other players. It's very interesting because you might imagine that chess clubs are completely silent. Not usually the case with us. We play our games, we talk about other stuff outside of chess while playing. Sometimes we're talking about what's exactly happening on the game. Sometimes I'm playing and I'm sharing exactly what I'm thinking if the person wants me to do that. Because sometimes they like to see or compare ideas, like how are you thinking versus how am I thinking? And then we can just kind of see over the board and kind of judge which way of thinking may be good, may be bad, may be good but needs some more improvement, maybe something we need to remove entirely, that kind of deal. Okay. Okay. So that is my logic model. I'd be interested to hear what your feedback is, because I'm very much I've been playing chess my whole life. I am very much kind of in that chess bubble. So it'd be nice to hear some outside perspectives of what you think I may have missed and some things that other aspects that you think would be important to help students out. I encourage you to think about like the average university student and someone coming in who's maybe a non-chess player and what they would want to get out of this experience, to help me kind of think from that perspective as well, because sometimes I might get a little stuck. But thank you guys. I look forward to seeing your videos, and yeah, see you guys soon.